Good evening and welcome to another episode of Warriors Attraction. How are you all? And welcome. Tonight we are going to talk about resilience. Resilience that can benefit the lifestyle, according to the ripple effect, which obviously our guest has come up with this title, so she's going to be talking about that. I'm going to be joined by Andrea Evans. I know Andrea Mason is running late, but she's going to join us. So, Andrea, get your bum in here.
Hey,
Hello.
everybody. How you doing? Good to see
Welcome
you.
back.
Yes, I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, you've had a good, couple of weeks off or something like that? I can't remember.
It's always something.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. For the viewers, this is our final episode until September. The only reason it's our final is not because we're quitting. It's just because obviously I'll be taking a break because obviously my partner is heavily pregnant. So I'll be off camera supporting her. But in the meantime, on social media, when I'm not in Facebook jail, I will be uploading like previous episodes of Warriors of Attraction. And I know the two Andrews will be probably doing the same to keep you up to date. So we're not forgotten about you all. But tonight, we are going to welcome Michelle Dickenson, who is going to be talking about all this resilience. So we will see you in 30 seconds. Please share. All right, okay. Well, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I've just been informed that as soon as we put the intro on, our unborn son was kicking along with the song. Okie dokie. He's going to be on camera at some point. Right, well, Michelle, welcome. How are you today?
I'm awesome. Thank you both for having me. I'm excited to be here.
You
Thanks
are
for
most
being
welcome.
here.
You're most welcome. Now, obviously, before we dive into how you come up with the title and everything like that, give us a brief background of who you are and how you came across to doing what you're doing today.
Okay, I'll give you the Reader's Digest version, the short version.
Of course.
So I was minding my own business, working in a corporate job for about 19 years, and was invited to talk about something I never spoke about, which was what life was like growing up with my bipolar mom. And so I was invited to step onto the TED stage and tell the story. And so I told the story, and then that inspired me to write my memoir. That inspired me to become a mental health advocate and talk about mental health. And that inspired me to leave the pharmaceutical industry altogether and start my own company to help people really understand mental health and to really shift cultures in the workplace. Like, that was my original vision. But then right after I started my company, COVID hit and the world was in need of resilience. And I had learned a lot through my journey of caring for my mom, of building a stigma-free workplace. And then also I suffered from depression when I was going through my divorce. So I realized also I didn't want to have a reactive conversation to mental health. I thought, why don't we get ahead of it? Why are we not getting ahead of it? Why are we not talking about the preservation of brain health? Why are we not doing more for ourselves every day? So that's when I decided I wanted to help people understand resilience as a lifestyle. What is resilience as a lifestyle, and how do we adopt these things in our life so we can ebb and flow with inevitable challenges that are going to show up?
Oh, I love it. And if you want to hop in at some point, Andrew, you're more than welcome to. So obviously, I have to ask, obviously we all know what mental health is, and how it impacts us. And I always like to ask this question because I've been asked it several times, and it actually took me over 2 hours to actually answer it. What does mental health mean to you?
So for me, mental health means taking care of my brain as much as I take care of my body. It's a non-negotiable. If I'm taking care of my body by exercising and moving it and hydrating it and nourishing it with good stuff, why am I not doing the same thing for my brain? So it's about, in my opinion, mental health is about taking care of ourselves and nourishing our brain just as much as we would nourish our body.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrea?
Mental health for me is a struggle sometimes. And it can be a struggle. But you know what? I try to use the anxiety in a good way, or the labels, obsessive compulsive. I try to use it in a good way to keep me on top of things and stuff like that. But what it means to me is, looking honestly at yourself.
Yes, sorry about that. My partner's really struggling here.
It's your mindset. It's the mindset. You know what I'm saying? And do we take those labels and think that's what we are? No, that's not who I am. So that's what mental health is to me. Ending the stigma is important.
Of course. And obviously for me, I have to share it, is I've learned that mental health is our mindset, the way it impacts how we act and behave, because it's all to do with behaviour. And obviously that's what I'm studying I have already studied a scratch of it, is about all that behaviorism, and I keep using it on my kids about behaviorism, and they're like, stop using psychology on me, you're not a psychologist. I'm like, it doesn't need to be a psychologist to use it, it's common knowledge.
Right.
Yes, yeah. So obviously, and this is the both of you and everyone tuning in, we're all stuck from time to time in adversity. And obviously, when it comes to adversity, you very struggle to gain that self-resilience to move forward to where you need to be and become that. In a way, you lose that self-identity, don't you? If you're stuck in that adversity, because you're like trapped in whatever cycle you are, whether it's whatever traumatic it is. So, what kind of strategies have you learned from your experience into getting where you are today? If that makes sense. Michelle?
Say that again. Reword
Right.
your question. I want to make sure.
Yeah, right. People are all, sometimes stuck in adversity, and they struggle to gain that self-resilience into where they need to be and gain that self-identity. So from your experience, because this is all we talk about is experience, how did you come across to break that cycle from having those depressive moments and stuff like that to think, right, I need this resilience in my life?
So I look at resilience, my business partner, Heather, and I look at resilience as a lifestyle, meaning that we do things for ourselves with our daily self-care, but then also around our mindset so that we know how to ebb and flow with the adversity that shows up. The reality is adversity is always going to show up. If we are guaranteed anything in life, that adversity and stress will always show up. So the only thing we have power over is how equipped we are to deal with it. So my question I always ask my clients, and this is a question I ask myself so I can better navigate adversity, is do I believe life is happening for me, or do I believe that life is happening to me? And if I look at it as life is always happening for me and for my highest good, then I start to approach the adversity with a little bit more curiosity and less mindset of victim. I'm at the effect of this situation. Instead, I look at it as, okay, so what is this here to teach me? As uncomfortable and as much as I disagree with what's happening, what is this here to show me that I need to get? And then it becomes less of a, I'm paralyzed or I'm at the effects of life. It becomes more about, how do I learn how to just dance with this? How am I going to grow through this? As crappy as it feels right now, because when you're in it, man, you're in it, and it sucks. It's hard, right? It's like you just want out as quickly as possible. But honestly, without adversity, we don't show up. We don't get to grow. We don't get to expand. We don't get to become the diamond from the coal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think, Andrea, if you can get a voice in?
I know. The peekaboo effect. I know. Resilience. That's one of my favorite words. And I believe, like Michelle does, it's a lifestyle. Resilience is overcoming everything, overcoming all those obstacles, how you react to it. That's what resilience is. And you know what? Still standing strong through it all. Still able to smile. That's what resilience is to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, you've overcome. I was going to talk to them. And obviously, you've overcome adversity as well in your life, Andrea, as well, and gained that self-resilience. And obviously, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've gained that self-resilience and gained a little bit more of your identity being on shows like this. Yes. If you want to explain that, you're more than welcome to.
Well,
oh, this is annoying.
And so we have to have resilience to break the stigma. You have to have the courage to do it. So at the end of the day, that's what I'm about. I'm about breaking the stigma, and I feel that resilience helps me to be able to do that. My mindset and looking at myself in a manner of all the wonderful things I can do and have done.
Yeah, I got that. Sometimes any feedback to that, Michelle?
No, for sure. I mean, I love what you guys are doing with helping to break the stigma. I think that there's so much work to be done in the space, and it does take determination to keep beating the drum, right? That's how we make change, is keep beating the drum, keep talking about it, keep normalizing it, keep making it part of everyday conversation, so people aren't so apprehensive to just acknowledge their own stuff. Because like, we're all human, we're all dealing with something. That part's inevitable, but like, it's when we suppress it and don't talk about it, that's the problem.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. And I always say to people as well, because obviously when we're teenagers, we all have that self-ego. Oh, mental health doesn't exist. I'm fine. Leave me alone and all that rubbish. But in reality, they're struggling inside. But obviously, I'm going to retract that word struggling, because I don't think any of us struggle with mental health. I obviously, if you ask me what word would I use before using this psychology doing the psychology course, I would say struggling. But now it's all an experience. Because that's all this is. It's just an experience, and it's finding those tools to implement and improve on our life lesson.
Right.
Because no textbook, no movie or whatever, or teacher can tell us about our own emotions. Only us can.
That's right.
I think you just said something very golden there, Adam, in that it is we are human beings, complex human beings, having experiences moment by moment by moment. And those experiences, when we can become curious about them and break it down, it's not defining who we are. Like, the experience doesn't dictate who we are. It's just an experience we're having. And like you said, it have the tools to be able to navigate that particular experience, that's powerful. Really great.
Yeah, and this is what I mean, because when I'm talking to people and they come to me saying, I'm depressed and I'm done and I don't know what to do, I'm like, okay then, you're depressed. Why? Why are you depressed? And 90% of the time they always go, I don't know. And that's where the distraction comes in, because you get talking, instead of talking about the actual problem, you talk about why they're acting like this, because it's all to do with the behaviour. Because like I said to my son today, because obviously he got autism and he was constantly kicking off of something minor. And I'm like, okay, right, you name one animal, and it could be any animal you want. And he couldn't. But obviously before, he picked an animal. And where I was going with this is I basically say, right, whatever animal you pick, that's the animal inside you. And why it's inside you, because obviously I've had jokes saying, oh, well, an animal won't fit in you. It's too big, like a blue whale, whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, one's called joy, gratitude, and all that. The other one is self-ego, negative, you name it, all that dangerous. And I'm like, okay, if they got into a fight, which one would win? They went, all right, the positive one. I'm like, really? Are you sure? Because if it's inside you, which we all have it, I'm like, the one that will win is the one you feed the most.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly
right.
as it is. Yeah. I've been listening to too much Les Brown, I think. Oh, but yeah, but it is true though, because it's all about the choice and it's all about, yeah, like he was saying today that, because obviously I'm not just a father to these kids, I'm a coach as well, and I'm coaching them to gain that self-resilience in themselves. Because obviously kids don't know about resilience. They ain't going to learn it in schools. They're not. And I'm trying to bring more awareness of this. And he's saying, oh, you're annoying me. And I'm like, okay then, how am I annoying you? And he couldn't answer. And then I was basically saying, okay then, let's have a conversation about that. And he wanted me to get to his level. I'm like, I'm not interested in that. It doesn't work. And obviously I kept calm, kept low, which I ain't got a clue how. And it's all about just keeping the flow and getting the mind distracted of that person to get them to realise, well, hang on a minute, why am I angry?
Mm-hmm.
Because whoever annoys them, yes, they may have annoyed them at the time, but if you hold it for so long, you're going to realise, yeah, they may have annoyed me, but right now I'm annoyed at myself. And that's what I said.
We are what we think. We are what we think.
Exactly. And that's exactly what it is.
I think that you raise a really important point, Adam, and that is like it's infusing in people's minds to be curious and not to just sit back and be resigned about what their experience is. You know, like when we become a little bit more curious, we unpack it, we peel it back, we get to the heart of it instead of just I am whatever, and then just feeling like I have no place to go. So I love when you say,
absolutely. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. And this is the discussion I'm having with my partner at the minute, because obviously I believe, like, I don't know everything about autism, because I don't think anyone will know everything, but I think he masks in school, and men do mask a lot more than women, and I get that, and the school isn't picking up on that. They haven't picked up on it, and that's a concern for me. So obviously this is the discussion that I'm having with her about how we can move forward and get the school to realise it's not just girls that mask their emotions, men and boys do it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've worn masks many times in my life, and I can admit that.
It's safe. Right? We do that because we think we're protecting ourselves. I get it.
Right.
Yeah. Do you know what? I want to pick up on that because we do think we are protecting ourselves, yes, but in reality, we're actually causing more damage to ourselves.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And how is that self-resilience?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. So obviously, you've got books, haven't you? I can't remember from our conversation because how long was it ago?
It was a while ago. I have one book, and it is my memoir, which is what it was like growing up with my mom who had bipolar disorder. It's called Breaking Into My Life. So
Yeah.
yes.
If you want to talk about that, you're more than welcome to.
I mean, I think, honestly, the book itself was really, for me, very cathartic to write it because I just wanted people to know the story. And I wanted people to understand that people with mental illnesses also are not horrible people. They're not mean
No.
people. They're not, I think our society teaches us that, like, we should fear them. Like, my mother was bipolar. My mother was also brilliant. My mother was also deeply compassionate. But when my mother was hurting and was in pain, she was not a very nice person. So I wanted to really highlight my mom in that memoir and show people,
Yes.
what it's like to love someone with a mental illness. So many people are living their lives caring for someone that they love or just trying to figure out life as someone with a diagnosis, So the book itself, I wanted people to get my story, but also it's a story of perseverance and hope because while my mom never got the care that she deserved while she was alive, I think that her imprint on me was so profound and is the reason why I do what I do every day. Like if I wasn't touched by the experience with her, I would have never even thought about pursuing work that I'm doing right now. So I think it's always perfect. Life is always unfolding for our highest good.
Yeah. Go on, Andrew.
I was just agreeing.
No, I don't like this.
What she just
Andrea,
said.
stop it.
It's interesting what she just said. I agree with what she said. I can take that on. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I want to pick up on that as well because I've always been curious as not just a dad, but a male as well, is why do women, and also sometimes fathers do this as well, why do mothers always choose to ignore their self-resilience and push the resilience into helping that child over themselves? I want to know that because I've always been curious.
I mean, we know moms are selfless to begin with. It's just what they do.
Yeah.
They put the needs of everybody else before themselves.
Are you selfless, Kerry? She's selfless.
Yeah, see? There you go. Right? And so then they wonder, oh my goodness, like, how am I going to help them if I don't help myself?
Exactly.
Have you been like that, Andrea, as well?
Yes, I'm quite selfless. And I know that my mom and the children's father calls me spoiler.
Okay.
When we go on family vacations, I try to take all the kids, even the adult ones. So, yes, we are selfless, but I'm learning to be self-full. We have to take care of ourselves, right? We have to think of ourselves, and it's not being selfish. So I'm learning a lot about that. So I think I'm changing a little bit when it comes to how I deal with all people, including my children. They might not like it sometimes.
Hi, Becky. Hope you're well. Yeah, it's and that's exactly as it is. Women are selfless, and sometimes men as well. I can't show sexism here. Not at all. But so, how do you think? And I hope my partners listen to this. How do you actually manifest from being selfless into actually putting you first and realizing that, hang on a minute, how can I look after the kids if I'm not looking after myself?
Mm-hmm.
So I can share only because I know this very personally because of all the coaching that I do, Adam. I have a lot of female educators here in the U.S. Right. So
right.
I have 4 school districts in my state that I'm coaching these teachers, and these teachers are very selfless. Most of them are moms. They're educators. They're working more than one job. And so the way I position it to them is I ask them, who's really going to get the best version of you if you don't take care of you?
That's
right? So you don't get to show up the best version of you if you're showing up depleted, if you're not making sure that you have a little bit of time for you to recharge. You bring an energy with you when you go into the classroom. You bring an energy with you when you reconnect with your partner, or you don't. You bring an energy with you when you're trying to raise your children and they're getting the 5% left that you have, like a phone battery. They're getting the last 5%. How fair is that? And then you feel bad because you're not showing up the best version that you can, that you know you can. So there's always an impact with depleting yourself, right? So you got to get, like, if you want to show up, you got to take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
you have to manifest. And this is what I said to my family today. I said, if you wake up negative and start to be hit and have that negative mindset, well, I'm afraid you're going to have that negative day. Mm-hmm. But if it's the vice versa, and you wake up like, okay, then I may be drained, I may be exhausted, but I'm not going to let that impact me, and I'm going to have a productive day, and it's going to be a good day, whether you're pregnant or not. I'm getting a death stare here, and that's what it's all about. It's because it's like you've got 2 choices. You've got 2 choices. You either go back to sleep and dream your goals, or you get up, you get off your ass, and go after them.
That's right. Go after them, everybody.
Yeah, this is what I'm like, so I just say as it is.
But I think so, Adam, I love what you're saying, but I think willpower is only going to take us so far. So I'm going to challenge you a little bit, because willpower is only
bring it.
You know, you're gonna wake up in the morning, and so if I listen to Adam, I'm gonna wake up in the morning, I'm gonna say, no, I choose to be happy. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes it just doesn't, no matter what. Like, you wake up and you're in a crap mood, right? So I would point it back to you and say, what are you gonna do for you to get yourself from the crap mood into at least an even keel mood, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that starts with, am I gonna take some time for me? Even if it's a 15-minute pause, a cup of tea, reading something inspiring, saying a prayer, whatever it is, what are you going to do to switch that? Because sometimes you're not strong enough to say, I'm not going to let the turkeys get me down. Sometimes you're just not. So you got to have things that you're going to do to get yourself back to set point, so that you
Of course, and I do get that. And as well, because I love a good challenge, I really do. And my response to that is, yes, it's all right to have shit days from time to time, because having those shit days, it's healthy. It really is. But if we're having too many, then there's a freaking problem that needs sorting, needs rectifying. But it's going back to what I said previously. It's all about how we respond. And yes.
That's right.
It's people always say it's easy said than done this, easy said than done that. What to do. I think people half the time like wake up, right, I'm going to go and have a cup of coffee, then I can have a productive day. No, there's more to that. You don't always have to have a cup of coffee. You can have anything you want. You could have an energy drink, or a cup of tea, or as I have, a lemon and cucumber water. You can have anything you want. People look for excuses to stay at that boundary level. Keep pushing.
Push. Yes.
Now, is that a good response?
I love it, because what I hear you saying is push back that mindset.
Yeah. I hear you.
Go on, Michelle. What's your response?
No, I mean,
Meditate.
Yes. She's
I
right.
want it.
You gotta do you. At the end of the day, like you said, Adam, if you have too many crap days, like it doesn't work, right? You're gonna have to change something.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Thank you. I think I used a bit of self-psychology there.
You have a choice whether you stay there or move on from it. You have a choice. Do you stay in that funk, or do you get that resilience and move and push back and get yourself out of that mindset? You have a choice to how you think.
Do you know what? I always watch. Go on.
No, go ahead. You always watch.
I always watch self-motivation videos, especially on TikTok. Yeah. And so after time, I duet them anyway. And I came across one from Dwayne Johnson that he said, and he did a little bit of a speech. He said, right, and I'm going to say exactly what he said, so there is going to be some swearing here, which don't hold me back anyway. He said, you've got two choices. If you've got your back against that wall, what are you going to do? Are you going to let the storm hit you as hard, or are you going to take that one step forward and you're gonna attack and go through this fucking storm? What are you gonna do?
I'm not gonna be a wallflower. I refuse to be a wallflower. I'm gonna dance my way up off that wall. That's what I'm gonna do.
Well, to be honest, it had me thinking and speaking to a lot of people as well, like Lorraine Michael Harris and Alan Stevens and all that. And they got me to realise, yes, we do experience storms from time to time. I get that when we have shit days. But what's to say we're not that storm? We're that storm because I've now stopped believing there's light end of the tunnel. I just think that's a load of rubbish now. And that is because of Lorraine Michael Harris as well. Because he's always said we are miners, and every direction we're looking in this dark place, the light is following us. It's going in every same direction, so we are both the light and the dark. And this is what people are too afraid to admit, because we're all living in that self-fear. We are powerful beings, and we need to. And the fear, that's what it is. It's the fear of the self-belief. It's are you gonna forget everything and run, or are you gonna face everything and rise?
I'm gonna face it and rise.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we're creators. So to your point, Adam, I agree with that. Like, we are creators of our life experience, right? So if we're creators of our life experience, we are what we routinely and repeatedly do, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
If you have crap mornings every morning, and you say you got to look at why you're having a crap morning, I would say you are your morning routine. What you choose to do every day. And so this is when I come in and say, hey, resilience as a lifestyle requires you have some staple practices in your life that prepare you for the morning when you wake up and you are just in a really ugly place. Then you say, oh no, I know what I need to do for me. So I'm going to go do that thing that I know is going to make me feel good. So it comes down to, we are what we repeatedly do. We are the sum total of who we're surrounded by. Like, there is responsibility that we can take in this too. We don't have to just sit and be at the effects of whatever happens.
That's right.
No, exactly. And to be honest, I actually did that today, because normally I would sit down when there's a negative atmosphere, because I've started to pick up on a lot more energy from people these days, and I mean a lot of energy. And obviously my kids have been negative today, I admit that. And I had a choice. I'm like, do I sit down and take in this energy, or do I say, no, I'm not going to take this anymore, I'm going to do something for me? So what I did is I got up and I actually went outside, sat on the bench, and swing, whatever it is, and I actually barefoot as well, and I grounded myself to that grass, and I soaked all that energy in. And now I've now realised, like, because obviously I know some people don't believe it, but when I was sat out there, I had someone come to me, and they said to me, Adam, you need rose quartz. You need rose quartz. So tonight, I'm actually going to sleep. Under my pillow, I'm going to sleep with a rose quartz under my pillow. And that's what I'm doing. And that's exactly what we should do.
It's love.
And there you go.
Rose quartz is love. You know that.
Yes.
Okay. Love it.
It's also a healing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think the strongest crystal of them all is amethyst.
My favorite.
I think this one's pretty crazy. Just saying.
Yeah, well, I have to share it. I have to share it because we were going to do it early next year, but we're actually going to do it this year in come Halloween. Yeah. Where I've now gathered a team, and we are going to go to an abandoned prison on a ghost hunt.
Oh boy!
We're going on the ghost hunt. All for mental health. I will be streaming live on here if I'm not in jail, and I'm actually going to take Amethyst with me.
That's so funny.
Wow.
So funny.
I'm going to take Amethyst with me.
Love it. Love it.
Or if you can highly recommend a crystal for me to take, like a protection crystal or something like that, please do push it forward.
I
don't know. I'm not that knowledgeable.
Take Sage.
An abandoned prison. Oh my God.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
It'll remove any evil spirits. It'll remove them. They won't even mess with you. Keep some sage in your pocket when you go in.
Yeah, sage. Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a team bringing sage. I think it's white sage they're bringing. Yeah, they're bringing it. They're bringing it. So I'm all right. And obviously, I'm going to get one of them twisty torches as well. So don't worry. We're going to be safe. Will we sleep that night? No. We're not going to be sleeping.
I love it. You're an adventurer, Adam. It's pretty cool.
Well, exactly. And this is what I keep saying. It's like kids today do not know how to be kids. They have not got a self-resilience because all they're obsessed about is getting in front of a phone or a Nintendo Switch or an Xbox or a PlayStation or a TV or YouTube, whatever. And I said to my kids a long time ago, I'm like, hang on a minute. When I was 11 and 10 years old, there was no YouTube. There was no Google. So I'm older than Google. Our lives was outside.
That's right.
Exactly. Get outside. And this is what I'm going to be doing when my son finally arrives, how are you doing now? Few twinges. So it's probably not going to be tonight, but we do have bets on.
Know.
Yeah, we've got people predicting when my partner's going to be giving birth. Obviously, the due date is 23rd. I've already said the 12th, which is tomorrow, but that's probably not going to happen. So, who knows?
You never know. That labor will hit and go so fast. I almost had one of my babies in my car. Well, I wasn't driving, but.
That would have been dangerous if you was.
Yes. Almost had it in the car, but I made it to the hospital and had her as soon as I got to the room. So you never know. I have 7 and they all came in their own time and way.
Aww.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so I don't know. Where can people find you?
All she has to do is go in labor and then they start coming 5 minutes apart. It's on.
Where can people find you, Michelle?
Sure, you can find me. It's best to follow me on LinkedIn I mean, here on Facebook, sure, but like I'm on LinkedIn a lot and I'm always adding value there. But then I'm on TikTok, Resilience Coach Michelle. I'm always doing videos there. So yeah, hit me up. I would love to hear from you. Follow my TikTok because I'm always dropping resilience strategies, tips, concepts, mindset stuff. So yeah.
Absolutely. I think I'm following you on it. I'm unsure.
I don't have a TikTok.
I apologize if I'm not.
I guess I gotta get
I'll have a look for you. Is it your exact name as well?
No, it's on TikTok. It's Resilience Coach Michelle.
Okay.
I'll have a look. I'll have a look and I'll drop you a follow. So, you know, I'll even do that while I'm on camera now. So just bear with.
Thank you. Love it. Love it.
So Andrea, if you want to keep talking, go for it.
TikTok. I don't do TikTok. I took it off my phone.
Yeah, was it addicting?
Nope, I didn't use it at all.
You didn't even use it? Oh my gosh, there's so many great people out there talking about really cool stuff.
I enjoy my kids and grandchildren.
Amen. I know. You're absolutely right. I get it.
I really need to, I can see what you're saying though. Take it as a platform that I could get my brand out there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I use it a lot for consuming information from people who are specializing in certain areas.
Well, maybe I need to follow you and I'd like it more. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. I keep telling Andrea to get TikTok, but she never does.
I know. But I'll do it for Michelle.
Oh, you'll do it for me. How rude.
I got you everywhere else. What you talking about?
Right. Well, I think we should wrap up. It's been absolutely awesome. It's a shame we're not back until September, but it's okay. It's okay. I think a break will do us all good.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I know, Andrea, the first topic back, I think it's the 8th of September. We'll talk about mental health in new parents.
Oh, how wonderful. My oldest son's birthday will be on that exact day. He will be turning 41.
I think it's the 8th. I think it is. I'm probably wrong.
Well, even if it's close to the birthday, we're talking about parent stuff, so that's going to be fantastic.
Exactly. Right, so there you go. There you go, guys. That's a wrap.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you. And please do come back.
I'm going to go dance in the park, y'all.
You go dance in the park.
Yes, I'll go live.
I'm going to go back to my Twin Paranormal on YouTube.
Enjoy.
Nice. All right, guys. Thank you.
Right. See you later. Please share this all.
Love all.